Today, I will tell the tale of perfect competition. A long time ago, this man was just looking to make a life in a perfectly competitive market with a perfectly competitive firm in iron because it supplied Mizuno, because iron goes into Mizuno golf clubs. Now, this man was a fool, and that's why I eventually turned him into a stick. And now I'm going to teach you a lesson, so that way you do not have to be turned into a stick like this man. I'm going to describe perfectly competitive markets, perfectly competitive firms, and all that, what you need to do, what you don't need to do, and hopefully you will learn something and not be cursed. You see the perfectly competitive market for iron. As you can see, the price equilibrium is here, and the quantity equilibrium is here. So, what does the firm do with this? So, the firm is a price taker, and as you can see, the price, X marks the spot equilibrium, carries all the way over to the firm's cost curves, supply curves, whatever you want to call it. Not actually, because there's actually one name for it, and it's the cost curves. Bobby was a fool and didn't understand where he needed to produce or supply at. Bobby was always like, hey, should I supply here? No. If you supply there, you are simply just going to be hurting yourself because the average total cost will carry over and your company will run amok. Do I produce over here? Bobby, you're an absolute fool. The same exact thing will happen because the total costs are way higher. So, where do I produce at then, all-knowing wizard? You produce where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. This point right here. Here, in the long run, you will have zero economic profit, which doesn't sound good, but it's a good thing because you're never losing there. And then, in the short run, you may be able to gain, or in the long run, you may be able to gain, depending on how the market changes. How can the market change for the good of Bobby? Probably should have told him this while he was so loud. So, let's say demand shifts right, and now, oh snap, the profit is above the average total cost, which is the belt. Probably should have explained that. The marginal cost is the green wire thing, and the blue, we'll talk about that later. So, as you can see now, when you are producing at marginal revenue equals marginal cost, you are having this little gap here of profit. That gap of profit is what happens. Now, the same could happen if demand were to shift to the left, and now you're going to start producing below. Now, as you can see in the cost curve, Bobby is going to be losing this much because the total cost is greater than the profit he's earning. So, now that we've talked about where we are in a loss, let's go over what this means in the short run if the company should or should not keep producing. Allow me to grab Bobby. So, this blue thing here is average variable cost. You can tell by its U shape. And average variable cost right now in this scenario is below the revenue. When it's below, that means you can keep hiring your iron workers, Bobby. That's awesome. Thanks for telling me, great master wizard. So, in the short run, he will keep producing. He's not going to shut down. But if the average variable cost were to somehow shift up, now he's losing in total cost and variable cost, and he needs to shut down in the short run. So that is what Bobby will do, and that is what you need to do to not be turned into a stick by me. Lastly, Bobby doesn't know, or didn't know, obviously, when he should enter or should exit a market for a good. If he should leave the firm of iron, he should leave the industry. So next I will go over that. This will be the last piece. In this scenario, in the long run, where the market is continually operating and the price, because of the market demand, is continually below average total cost, you need to leave and exit this business. It is never going to be prosperous Well, it could be, but not for you. And you just have to get out of there entirely. However, if the market shifts up, I don't need to show it because you guys are smart, or else I'll turn you into a stick. The profit, let's say, is up here now, continuously. It's above average total cost. Then you are going to stay in the industry because you will keep making a profit. And obviously, Bobby didn't get this, but the market price always determines what is going on over here. So that is all you need to know. I hope you learned something. Don't be like Bobby. Be smart. Go Mizuno. Well, my boys, I hope you learned something. The Wizards seem to forget one thing, so I'll have to explain it to you two fine young men. These are my boys right here. Pretty proud of them. So, a perfectly competitive market is, or a perfectly competitive firm, perfectly competitive market is something that can be mined or farmed. Hear that, Teddy and Doggy? So, what does that mean? That means it could be grains, it could be iron, like the wizard went over in the video. It could be water, not water bottles, but it could be water. It could be manure, like we went over in class. And an example would be the Wizard's Iron Farm, or Wizard's Iron Mine, or Bobby's Iron Mine, as in before. In class, it was Adrian's Manure Farm, or Spain's Grain Farm, Ava's Grain Farm, anything like that. And that's really all you need to know. So I hope you guys learned something.